truly a better place. But I think the Senate can say that tonight, and I'm very proud of what has happened. So let me just say a few things. Tonight, after more than 6 months of hard work, many twists and turns in the road, America sends a message to the entire world. We will not turn our back on you. We tell our allies, we stand with you. We tell our adversaries, don't mess with us. We tell the world we will do everything to defend democracy and our way of life. This national security bill is one of the most important measures Congress has passed in a very long time to protect America's security and the security of Western democracy. To our friends in Ukraine, America will soon deliver more ammunition and air defenses and basic supplies you need to resist Putin on the battlefield. To our friends in Israel, America will soon deliver aid to help you fight the scourge of Hamas and stand up to Iran. To innocent civilians in Gaza in the midst of a war, and to those around the world who face hunger, America will deliver food and medicine and clothing. And to our friends in the Indo-Pacific, we will stand with you to resist the Chinese Communist Party. And to the whole world, rest assured, America will never shrink from its responsibilities as a leader on the world stage. Tonight we make Vladimir Putin regret the day he questioned America's resolve. Over the past few months, I've spoken repeatedly, over and over again, about the supreme importance of getting this supplemental package done. Starting in the fall, through Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and into the spring, this was so much on our minds because it was so important. And I said again and again we had to work in a bipartisan way, Democrats and Republicans alike, if we wanted to pass this bill. I went to Israel and to Ukraine to see our friends and allies firsthand and look them in the eye and say, we are with you, we will get this done, we will not desert you. When we succeeded in getting the supplemental through the Senate back in February, it was for two reasons. Two reasons, so do the watchwords: persistence, bipartisanship. And today, the bill that Congress is sending to the President is largely the same bill in substance as what the Senate had been pushing all along. Passing this bill confirms yet something I've stressed since the start of this Congress. The only way to get something done in divided government is bipartisanship. Anyone who tries to do it in a partisan way will lose out. That's precisely what happened today. Persistence, bipartisanship saved the day. Leader McConnell and I, who don't always agree, worked hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, to get this bill done. Together we were bipartisan and persistent. And as I've said, this is an inflection point in history. Western democracy faces perhaps the greatest test since the end of the Cold War, and this supplemental is essential to meeting the challenges. Failure to pass the supplemental would have been a gift to Putin, to Iran, to Xi, and hurt America politically, militarily, economically, and culturally. I'm glad that when it mattered most, finally, both parties came together to do the right thing for our nation's security. I thank President Biden for his unflinching leadership. I thank Speaker Johnson, Leader Jeffries for working together valiantly to pass this bill. I thank Chair Murray and Vice Chair Collins for this excellent work. And two particular thanks. One is to my caucus. Of the 4 caucuses in the Senate, we have the most unity. They're great. We stick together. That gave us strength. We air our differences in caucus, and we try to come together, and we did. And finally, I would like to give a particular shout-out to Leader McConnell. Against a lot of negative comments within his own party and within his own caucus, he knew the right thing to do and stuck with it. So, when it matters most, America summons the strength to come together to overcome the centrifugal pull of partisanship and meet the magnitude. Tonight, under the watchful eye of history, the Senate stood tall. Questions? Yes?
Senator Sanders was very upset earlier today about not being allowed to have his amendment brought forward for a vote. Can you walk us through your decision on that?
Look, we had to get this bill done as quickly as possible. Time was of the essence.
going forward, a number of Democrats have been voicing concerns about humanitarian conditions in Gaza. This aid just went forward without conditions. Should Congress play a role in addressing those humanitarian conditions going forward? Is that on the White House? Where does that responsibility?
The White House, look, the White House needed this aid. It's a lot of aid. It wasn't cut. And the White House is making sure and doing everything it can to make sure that that humanitarian aid gets to the people it needs quickly as possible. I have a lot of confidence in them in doing that.
This was one of your major priorities. You got government funding done. What are you doing going forward?
Well, we've had an amazing month. 3 major pieces of legislation that really required hard work and bipartisanship. Getting the government funding, got FICA and FISA and this bill, the supplemental, all got done. It was quite a month, and it's a month that's a testament for bipartisanship. If you don't let the hard right pull you over, and they're not interested in getting anything done, they're just interested in negativity and destruction, you can get things done. And I hope our Republican colleagues have learned that lesson, not to listen to the hard right, but to try and work and get things done. Yes?
I wonder what your thinking is on the TikTok provision, what you say to the young voters in particular who like this app and use it and be worried all about a political.
Look, Speaker Johnson put it in the bill, in the big supplemental bill, and we had to get the supplemental bill passed as quickly as possible. Yes?
Leader Schumer, obviously, it's Passover. Happy Passover.
Thank you.
This evening, there were hundreds of protesters in front of your Brooklyn residence because of your support for this bill. People who were saying that they don't think there should be unconditioned aid to Israel. What's your message to those protesters tonight? And also, just your response to these protests we've seen, pro-Palestinian protests on campuses like Columbia.
Look, I put out a statement about Columbia. Peaceful protest is proper and appropriate, and I've always had 4 goals in terms of Israel policy. 1, radically reduce the presence of Hamas. You can't have peace with Hamas. Free the hostages, get as much humanitarian aid possible as done, and do everything you can to avoid civilian casualties. Last one.
Your message to the protesters
Last
outside
message.
your home.
Last message.
Circling back to Frank's question, as we move forward after the recess, what are your major goals for the conference and coming months?
Well, we have a bunch of different bills. They'll all have to work in a bipartisan way, and we'll do our best to get many of them done. They include trying to get $35 insulin. They're trying to get $35 insulin. They're trying to get child safety, online child safety done. They're trying to deal with rail safety. They're trying to deal with the SAFER Act and cannabis reform. We got a lot to do, and if we can work in a bipartisan way, we will. Thank you, everybody. Oh, yes, and I left a message for President, I'll say this here. I left a message for President Zelensky.